Singh. I have total 7 years of experience in identity and access management, and currently 5 years. From last 5 years, I'm working on SailPoint technology, and the versions on which I worked on are starting from 6.2, 6.4 to now 7.3 currently. So I will quickly move on to the slide where I will talk about the introduction of the IAM and the SailPoint, how SailPoint and identity access management works. So here is the introduction where SailPoint IdentityIQ is an identity and access management solution for an enterprise customer that delivers a wide variety of IAM process, including automated access certification, policy management, access request, provisioning, password management, identity intelligence. So here identity IQ is basically one of the niche tool in the market right now, which is supporting identity and access management of enterprise. It is based on the it doesn't depend upon the size of the enterprise, but yeah, it is basically used for a medium scale of enterprise company. And as it's an identity access management tool, so it helps in doing certain tasks, like it automates access certification, policy management, it do provisioning, deprovisioning of the user which are there in the enterprise. It You can have multiple application integrated with the target application. Data can be pulled out from the target to the sale point, through which we can manage the data of the identity. So there are basically three modules in identity and access management. The first one is compliance manager, the second is lifecycle manager, and the third is governance platform. So what is compliance manager? So compliance manager basically automates access certification, policy management, audit reports. This is basic. This compliance manager basically allows you to streamline the process of an enterprise, compliance process of an enterprise. So it not just secure the data of the identity, but it also automates many other things which will protect or streamline the compliance process. Coming to the lifecycle manager, so this module manages user access request, automated lifecycle event. It provides you from the starting of the user, when a user joins the company till the time they leave the company, the full process is being managed in this module. And it provides the scalability, flexibility solution in a business in a way that both efficient and it is efficient and compliant, and user life cycle in the organization is smooth. Coming to the governance platform, so it provides an automated access to digital assets, while at the same time it manages potential security and compliance risks, such as defining roles, entitlements, policies, approval for access requests. So once all these policies, roles, entitlement are in place, so user will get access according to their roles in the system. So this will help to governance the full platform, and will help in identity access management in a wide way. So any questions, or should I move ahead?
Yeah, continue.
So coming on to the identity and access management architecture. So the SailPoint architecture supports basically it for the if you talk about the architecture level, three major things are required to describe SailPoint. So one is the application server, one is the database server, and one is the SailPoint application. So basically the SailPoint application is lies on the application server. So there are multiple application server which I will tell you which identity IQ supports. But for now, the first basic layer of identity IQ is the application server. Identity IQ directly get connected with the database server where all the objects table are stored. The values of all the object tables is stored in the database. So in the application server, we have different categories or different layers. Identity IQ is basically is a web-based application. So web-based application needs a server. So here the application server, it could be a Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, WebSphere, JBoss, etc. The external application with which SailPoint Identity IQ interacts is via REST API. SailPoint have their own individual APIs that are called SailPoint APIs, which help us to customize a lot of code as per the customer's requirement. Then comes the UI. The UI, which once the SailPoint is installed, you will see a application will have a URL where you can hit the URL and you can see the home page, which will take you to the application from the UI perspective. SailPoint also have some task workflows and scheduler, which helps to manage the data, the lifecycle event, and also to schedule many things inside the SailPoint. Coming to the UI, the SailPoint has different functionality, and it is a user-friendly tool which is self-explanatory, where you can understand very easily what link or what quick link is used for. But yeah, there are other functionalities when you will use Identity IQ, you will understand, but it is a user-friendly tool. Coming to the application connectors, so SailPoint has many application connectors which is integrated with the target system. So there are connectors or the application connectors like CSV file, which is called as delimited type connector. Then there is JDBC connector, which connects with the different kind of databases. It has Active Directory LDAP connector. It has SAP connector and other lot of individual connectors, but few are the one which I've just mentioned. SailPoint has also integration module where it can be integrated with a third-party management solution, service desk ticket management system, and mobile devices management system. SailPoint has also email a server facility where SailPoint, whenever a user is like, if for an example, if a user is onboarded, multiple email notifications should be sent. So via that email server, we can generate emails, trigger emails. There are other reporting system wherein in report we can directly execute the report, and the report can be, after adding the name of the recipient, that report can be directly sent to that user. So these are few email server features that are there in SailPoint. So this is all about the SailPoint architecture, how SailPoint is built, and how it can be utilized in a different way. Coming to the system platform that SailPoint supports. So application servers like SailPoint support is the Tomcat, WebSphere, WebLogic, JBoss. Database platforms are MySQL, sorry, Oracle, MySQL Server, and DB2. SailPoint application is based on Bean Shell, as well as it supports Java. So the platform which is which it works on is the Oracle or the IBM JDK, and the Oracle JRocket JDK. Coming to the browser which it supports Firefox, ESR, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and Safari. And it also supports mobile supports like iOS, Android, Windows Phone, native browser, BlackBerry, etc. So this all depends upon the user, how they want to configure their Identity IQ and which environment they want to build it. Coming to the SailPoint IQ installation and configuration. So SailPoint is needs, as I already mentioned in the architecture, we need a application server, we need database, and we need SailPoint SailPoint jars. So to install SailPoint, we need to like there is a SailPoint site, SailPoint community, where they have all the war files available based on the version, which version you want to install. So you can go onto the site and create your account, and there they have downloads, and in downloads we can create the SailPoint IQ war. So once the war file we have downloaded, we can based on that we can generate the schema, as in we can create the database. Once the database is created, the schema will be generated. We need to do some configurations in the IQ property file, which is like has all the important database details, like if you want to select my SQL or Oracle or MS SQL database, so there will be the uh, content available for them, and we just have to uncomment which database we are going to point out, and we can while making this change, after making this change, it will hit to that uh, database that we have uncommented, and it will start using it. So these are few steps, but I will take in the next slide, I will show how basically the installation happens. So just now that I discussed about the SailPoint community page, so this is the community page. Here you can see the login and the register link. So you can register yourself, or you can create your login also. And in SailPoint Identity IQ, after home, you can see Identity IQ. So in that, you will see the downloads link as well. And here you can download the Identity IQ WAR file. So once the Identity IQ WAR file is downloaded in your system, it will be like Identity IQ WAR folder, which will have all the SailPoint related WAR files. Can you hear me? Hello. Was saying that it will after getting down, once the Identity IQ WAR is downloaded, you can see the folder is in this form, as you can see on the screen. So it will have all the necessary custom or the SailPoint folders, like WebINF. In WebINF, there will be again different subfolders where they have their default rules, libraries, their Java code and everything inside it, the log files, the database files, the IQ Identity IQ property files, logj file. So coming on to the installation, for this we need our Tomcat to be installed and the database to also be installed. So once our Tomcat is there, we will put the extract downloaded Identity IQ zip file in the Tomcat Apache folder. And under WebINF, there will be Identity IQ WAR file. As I mentioned, that we have to uncomment the database. So here we are using MySQL database. So you can see the folder structure will be Web Apps Identity IQ WebINF database, and in this there will be a create identity IQ table .mysql query. Once we have put this folder into the WebINF, then we have to connect to our database via and if you want to do it from the command line, you can use the command mysql hyphen u root hyphen p. But if you want to do it from the GUI, then with SailPoint with my SQL database, you have to also install MySQL GUI, with which you can see the UI of this database, and there you can have a execute query option with where you can drop this query and just execute it. So it will create a database of identity IQ, sorry, and all the tables inside that database. So once it is installed, we have to start our Tomcat server. So after installing this Tomcat server, I will show you how I have I have already installed the application on my server, but I will show you once I'll go to that slide how I will start the Tomcat and how the SailPoint page looks like. So once the Tomcat server is started, you can see the SailPoint homepage, which will be like this. Here you have to put the username and password. So by default, the SailPoint user that we use is this SP admin, and the password for that is admin. So you can add the details, and it will take you inside the SailPoint page, SailPoint application. So here is just a quick like screenshot which will show you how the SailPoint application looks when you log in. So there are links like home, my work, identities, application intelligence, and setups. So in my work, you will see all your access request work items. In identity, we can see all the identities that will be created in SailPoint. Applications will have all the application connectors that we will configure. Intelligence will have advanced analytics reports uh, functionality, and in setups we will have functionalities or the links like tasks that we can run on the application. There will be certification links, there will be batch load, and there many other links. So this is kind of a home page of SailPoint once the SailPoint is installed. Um, Coming to the application definition, so this is one application that I uh, yeah, I installed, not installed, basically I configured in SailPoint. So this is HR feed. This basically is a delimited type application, which is a CSV file. So in this, there will be no direct connection with the application. So basically, delimited type of applications are those applications which are not connected with the application directly, the target application, I mean to say, but it is a CSV file which we are going to use as the source of record for our application. And through whatever the records are there in the CSV file, those identities will be created in SailPoint. So this is the delimited type of application. So the application page looks like you have details. You have to give the name of the application. Owner will be SP admin. Here you can see application type. So in application types, there are multiple types of application. We have selected delimited type of application. Since I want to make this application authoritative, authoritative means as in this will be a source of record. So you can create as many applications, but if you want your data to be authoritative or should be consistent, and all the applications should trust this data over any other data, to make that happen, you have to select this checkbox as authoritative application. So after doing this basic configuration, you have to go on to the next page, that is the configuration page, wherein you have to give the file path where the CSV file is stored Right now it is on the my local system, but we can have it on the servers from where it will fetch this file. The file transport type will be local. We have the options here, the parsing type. There are two options, delimited and the regular expressions. If the file is a CSV file, you say, then CSV file can be a comma separated. So the regular expression we can give as comma. And if I select it as regular expression only, then here we have to give the columns which are there in the file. So in this way, you can describe all the columns that are there in your file. Once this is done, you can do the test connection. So this test connection here, what means is that your connection is successful with this application, and now we can fetch the data present in this CSV file in the system. If this connection fails, then you cannot run the aggregation. The aggregation will fail and the data will not come into SailPoint. So test connection is the important thing while onboarding the applications. So, yeah. So once the test connection is successful, this is the next page. Here we, sorry. Um, so here we were on the setting tab. The next tab comes here is the schema. So after doing the test connection, we'll go on to the schema. So there are the details where you have to put it in a way that the identity that you are going to aggregate in the system should have an identity attribute and a display name. So if you want the identity to be visible in a certain way, their name should be displayed, their full name should be displayed, their last name should be displayed. So you need to give the attribute as per that. So I have given the display name as a full name, as the sorry. So there are columns like employee ID, function, first name, last name, manager ID, full name, email. So all these are the columns that are present in the HR feed file in my local. So I have uh, uh, discover the schema, doing the discover schema, all the since the test connection was successful, after doing the discover schema, all the attributes which were there in the CSV file were listed in the attributes. And once the attributes are listed based on our requirement, like we want the display name should be visible as a full name, the identity attribute should be visible as employee ID, we have to give those attributes so that data will be visible as per our need. So after all this setting, you can see in accounts, in the application accounts, the the identities are showing in a way where the account ID is the employee ID, the account name is the display name, and the status is active for all these users. uh, the, the previous slide was the accounts that were there in the application. Coming to the SailPoint identity page. So this is the link where you will see all the identities. In the previous slide, I showed you the application accounts of that HR feed application only. But in this page, you will see be it of any application. Right now, I've just onboarded one application, but once there will be multiple application, you will see all the identities of those application in the identity warehouse, where you can see which identity has which entitlement, which identity has which all application accounts. You can see the user status, you can see the manager, you can see their active date, start date, end date, other attributes like department, region, etc. So this is the inside page of the one of the identity. So here are the attributes. It shows the username, first name, last name. So all these attributes were there in the table. So after running the aggregation, the identity got HR account got linked with the identity, and all the attributes were also started getting reflected. So this was all about the slide how SailPoint is architecture works, what is basically SailPoint, what are the modules of SailPoint, then comes the installation, how we can install the SailPoint, what all platform SailPoint supports, how SailPoint can be downloaded, how SailPoint dashboard and the home page looks like, and how we can manage identities in SailPoint, and also how we can onboard the one application. So now I will explain you one example by doing it in a practical way where you can see how the application is basically onboarded. So I'll move on to the started brief. This is the place where my Apache Tomcat is installed. Under downloads installer, I have my Apache Tomcat, and in bin, I have given the command as start.bat. So once that is given, our Tomcat gets start getting running, and once this is the server is completely started, you can hit the URL of the SailPoint. So once the server is SP admin, and admin is the password. This is the URL, localhost 808 IdentityIQ login. So this is the default URL when SailPoint is installed on your local machine. So we will log in into this. So as I showed you, there are features like home, work, my work, identities, application, intelligence, and setup. So these are the basic uh, rights a user will get based on their capabilities. So this is the page that an administrator can view, but depending upon the capabilities or the SP rights a user has, these links can vary. Like to like help desk, we doesn't want a help desk to have the access of all the links. So that can vary, and user can only view home and my work like links. So to begin with, I want to make you go through this global setting, which is one of the important part of SailPoint, where you do all the SailPoint related configuration. So it has Identity IQ configuration, where you can do the configurations like so it depends what type of email notification you want to use. This is, they have SMTP, redirect to email or redirect to file. So you can use any type of email notification, and the email will be sent. Email can be sent to a user, or it can be uh, redirected to a folder, and so any option you want, you can select here. You can give the name of the file and the address where you want to send this. So a setting that is identity mapping. So there are certain attributes which are self-defined in SailPoint Identity IQ, but there are other attributes that out of there. These are the there are 7-8 attributes. These are the out of the box attributes that SailPoint gives us. But if you want any custom attribute, that can be added here. So I have added job title, last name, region, department. These are the certain attributes that I've added just to get the identity, certain more attributes which are there in my feed file, which I will show you. So so this is the file that I am going to use to install or onboard in SailPoint. So it has column like employee ID, first name, last name, manager ID, full name, email, telephone, employee type, department, region, location, inactive, and job title. So now I want this to be in SailPoint. So how I'm going to do is, for this, I am going to onboard this application. So as you can see, as I told you that there were only 5 attributes. So other attributes I have mapped in SailPoint. I'll just show you once that how the mapping happens. So I've just given the attribute name, make it searchable so that the value coming from the feed file can be stored in IdentityIQ once the identity is refreshed. And here is, you can see source mapping and the target mapping. So these are two important things that we need to understand. So source mapping is from where the data is coming, and uh, from where the data is coming, and the target mapping is from where the data is coming and to where we have to send that data. So suppose the data is coming from the HR feed file, that will be stored in our source mapping, so that that data will reflect on our identities. But if we want that identity data to be reflected in some another target system, like in any other application, some like some another HR system which they are using, some companies using. So we can give the department name that is coming from our system. We will store that in the identity source mapping, and this can be further stored in the target mapping. Like we can give the name of the application where we want, on which application we want to store this identity attribute value. So for source mapping, you can see we have the option like application name. So currently there is no application. Once we create an application, the application will come into the drop down, and later you can select the attributes of those applications. So once this setting is done, sorry, so once this setting is done, identity after refresh can have the department value in the identity warehouse. And similarly for target, if an ABC application on which we want this department value to be populated, we will select the same as same at target, and we will select the application and select the attribute which we want to populate, and we can save this. So this is the way we do the identity mapping for a user, for a sorry, attribute. So now I will quickly demonstrate how an application is onboarded. So let's click. This is the home page of this is the application definition page of the SailPoint, where you can add as many of the application by clicking add new application. So as I showed you earlier in the slides, this is the detail page where I'm going to give the name of the HR feed as the name of the application. Owner will be SP admin. So the right now there is only one identity. You can select any identity as the owner, but we are selecting the administrator right now. So as I said, there are many application type available by like the out of the box SailPoint connectors that are available. So one of them is the delimited type connector, which we will select, which is used for the CSV file type of applications. So by default, actually it is taking this path, but because of some cache issue, but it will be blank. Then we have to select this as an authoritative source, because as I said that we want to make this data as the authoritative data. Beyond this data, no other data can replace this data. So we will make this as authoritative. Going to the configuration page. So this is the place where the file is kept right now. I am making this file as a delimited type parsing type, and since it is a comma separated, I'll give a comma here. And I also want the file has common column headers on the first line. So since I showed you this has column names, and from the second line is showing us the details of the user. So we will take this checkbox check as we have the columns in the file, and let's see the test connection works. So it says unable to. Okay, so I think there is a parsing option. So due to some caching, this value is getting stored in my system. Let me do the test connection again. Okay, so now it says that the retrieving the file was successful. It means the path that we have given is successful, but there was a failure iterating object. The account schema does not have defined attributes defined. So here we um, define. So onto the schema, we will do the discover schema. So doing discover schema, it has since so here you can see it gave the warning that retrieving the stream was successful, but there was a failure iterating object. So it says that the data cannot be iterated, but there is a successful connection between the this application. So once we discover the schema, so this discover schema helps in getting all the columns that are defined in the CSV file that I showed you. So here I want to give the employee identity attribute as a employee ID. So this has to be in the same way as mentioned in the CSV file, and let's select this full name and put it in the display attribute, and let's preview if we can fetch the data. So now the data is showing up in a way. So this shows us that the connection is successful, and it preview is basically to see whether the data, the way we want to aggregate, is coming in a right way. So it will not pull all the data, but it will pull only first 10 identities of that file or of that application. So now it is connected. Let's do that. So test connection is successful. So let's save this application. Okay. I also want to set the correlation. So what correlation is? So in our application, there will be identities, and we want that identity to be correlated with certain identities which are there in already existing. So suppose this is the first application, so that's why there is no application. But to make you understand what the correlation is, suppose there are 10 application, and I have onboarded another application ABC, And in that application, there are 5 users. So out of that 5 user, I want one user to be directly correlated with the one of the 10 identities which are currently present. So for that we need to create a correlation between the two identities. So one is the identity attribute which with which we want to, which is there in our system, and the one which is the application application attribute and is the identity attribute. So in here right now we have employee ID. I want this employee ID to be correlated with my identity attribute manager ID. So what will happen whenever this aggregation or this task will run, it will see this employee ID is should be mapped with the manager ID of this application. So it will create an account of HR feed with inside the application. Sorry, it will create an application account in the identity warehouse for a certain identity. When you will open that identity, this application account will be visible there. So I'll show you that. But for this, I am using the manager correlation. I want to correlate it with the manager. So the application attributes that I showed you was we had different attributes, and out of that I'm picking employee ID. And in identity attribute, I want to pick again employee ID. So I'll do this, save. Now comes the task where which will help us to pull the data uh, in the system and get correlated with the identities and create an application account in that identity. So for this, I will create an account aggregation task. You can give any name as per your understanding. But mostly we start with the application name first and then the account aggregation. Here you will select the application. So we have only one application right now. So we will save and execute this task. So in the task result, so you can see this in the task HR. This application account definition is created. So while creating the task, I ran it also, but we can right click on the task and execute this task as well. So the task got executed, but we have got the error. Let's check out the error. So, okay. So we can open this link in another tab. So I'll go to the application again and check. So this is causing a cache right now, but test connection is successful. Let's again run the aggregation. So this usually doesn't happen, but the caching can sometimes cause an issue in SailPoint. So we need to clear the cache most of the time. So I'll click on open this and save and execute this task. So now this task is again, it's failing, it's causing cache. So now the task is successful since I have cleared the cache, but I didn't save the application. So that is why the last time we ran the task got failed, but now the task is successful. In the task result, you can see. So what it has done is, so it has details like the name of the tasks, type, description, runtime, the status. You can see the progress. So these are the things which describes the detail when the task was executed, and the below table gives us the picture, like how many tasks were, how many accounts were scanned and how many identities were created. So in the CSV file, there were 8 identities. So it says that 8 identities are created. So let's go on to the identity warehouse and see if the identities are created, right? So yes, the identity is created. Let's click on the identity, one of the identity. So currently you will see there is only a demo, one user, one value is populated, but rest of the values are not populated. Okay. So for this, we have to do the identity mapping, which I was talking about earlier, that I'll show you, but let's see the um, tabs which are present in the identity. So this is the identity attribute, which gives us the understanding of all the attributes that user has, and once we will do the mapping, the values will be populated. Next comes the entitlement tab. So right now this user doesn't have any entitlement, but so what is entitlement? Entitlement is the permission or the group that user will have to access certain um, links or uh, another application. If I give access, or like sorry, it can, once it has certain roles or entitlement, it can access certain licenses that company provides, like they can access the maybe the Outlook, they can access the Azure AD if they have those types of entitlement. So right now we have only created an application and just showing you how the user is created, but yeah, we can give these identities roles and entitlement. Based on that, they can access other applications, other links, other licenses present in the system. So in the application account, since the user is now correlated with this identity, so you can see this application account is showing up here. So you will click on this application HR field, and all the attributes value are coming up here. But we want these values to be visible on the identity attribute. So for that, we will do identity mapping. Coming to the policy, history, risk, activity, these are some of the SailPoint features. So once this identity is used in multiple ways, there will be, provisioning, deprovisioning. So based on that, the values will be populated here. So user rights are the one thing which I was talking. So based on the capabilities or the SailPoint rights user will get the access to view certain links. And this event, right now there is no event. So there are some life cycle event that we need to configure when a user is onboarded. So once a user is onboarded, based on the life cycle events we have configured, the events will be populated here. So these are the screens. Right now we don't have such data, so it will not be populated. Now I will show you how the identity mapping works so that our value can get displayed in the attributes. So if I go to identity mapping again, and I want this department value to be visible, so what I will do is I will do the source mapping. I will select this HR feed, the attributes. I will select, I want the attribute department to be visible, and I will add this. And so you can see department from the HR feed will come to our identity attributes. So similarly, this I will do for other fields as well. So I will
So for display name, I will take full name and save it. Let's do it for emails. Employee ID. Similarly, let's take it for job title. So these are one-time configurations that we need to do while setting up the application, uh, like identity mapping, until and unless there is no other attribute that is coming up. So by default, SailPoint allows 20 attributes to be added. And if we want more attributes, then we have to do some another customization. But by default, we can add 20 attributes. So right now I've added all these. Let's go and check. Uh, okay. So since we have done the attribute mapping, so to get this data visible on the identity side, we have to run the refresh. Um, so there is a out of the box, you can it's out of the box task. So tasks are basically um, it helps to refresh the data, to manipulate the data in the system, to aggregate the data. So there are different when it performs the refresh, it will refresh all the identities in the system, so that any attribute that is not refreshed or coming it from any other source can be populated once the refresh is done. So let's refresh this task. So let's see in the task result. So the task has also ran, and here you can see the time, result, owner, on which server it has run. So you can see it has examined 9 identities and score change is 8. So let's go and see whether the identities are getting populated. So yeah, so here you can see the first name, last name, the values are now getting populated. Let's open one of them. So yeah, so these are the since I haven't added all the attributes, the few which I added, so the values start coming up here. Similarly, we can do it for manager, sorry, email, location, etc. So this is the way we can, onboard an application and do the identity mapping and get all the values updated or populated on the identity in SailPoint. There is also advanced analytics tab, intelligence. There is the advanced analytics tab. So what this helps in, uh, like searching the, since there are thousands of identities, so it will be difficult for us to search any identity. So there is a feature like advanced analytics. So by giving the value of mm, giving any value, this will filter out that identity for us, and we can see that identity. So let's do this: first name, last name, region we want to view one of the identity. So let me search this identity. Let's see if it comes. Mm. So here we will put this. It just like a filter, and we will do the run search. So here you can see this identity has come. So this is one way you can search the identities. So there are different types of advanced analytics options. So this is the way you can search identity. There will be access reviews, roles, activity, audit. This is very helpful in audit. So these are few things where you can, manipulate, or you can check whether the data is getting populated properly, because when there will be thousands of users and like hundreds of applications, there will be a huge data. So to sort the data, to filter the data, advanced analytics is the option that helps us. So that's it from my end. So anyone has any questions?